If anybody hears this, go on the internet and Google, right? Type up brain scan for ADHD. And I want you to type up a brain scan for someone with depression. And I want you to look at them. What you'll find is that both are cold. You know, you think of fire, right? With activity. And these brain scans show a lot of orange, right? Orange is activity in a normal brain. Or someone with a happy brain. The brain scans are active, right? But with someone with ADHD and someone with depression, you'll notice they look almost identical. Because they need the stimulation. When you look at somebody with ADHD that doesn't have any stimulation, what they'll do is they'll run around in circles and do things to activate the brain, to get it to a normal functioning level. With depression, your brain is kind of sitting at this level, and under normal circumstances, I think you try to do things to activate it, right? To get things going. And for someone with a normal brain, a lot of times you can be successful with that. Your brain is just depressed and it gets back to where it was before. But for us, that's our normal. And it's always like that. If you seriously go look at these scans, we're always at that colder, inactive level. And when you don't have stimulation, all you feel is depression and anxiety. And the problem is when you go and run around like you normally used to, what happens after a while is it doesn't stimulate it enough. Or in your mind, you know the end result before you even do it, and it's not even worth it. Those drugs, those daily drugs that you're used to, those daily distractions to stimulate your brain are not worth the effort. And then you stay in your state, your normal state that you're born with. This state of depression that you really don't know much different than, because that's what you were born with. And you feel so alone, even though so many other people have to deal with this too. And you feel all of the symptoms of depression. You feel isolated. You feel all of these things. I was reminded of this with my kid over the weekend, and he's 3, but I know he's got ADHD before I even get him tested. And not just because it's genetic. I mean, yes, he's full of energy. He's so smart. The kid is so smart. But this is funny, but I could tell, because with an ADHD person, all you have to do to calm them down is touch them. Human touch. Isn't that amazing? You just, you know, like scratching the back or like little tickles. My little 3-year-old asks me for little tickles all day long because he wants the stimulation. Because he's emotional too. And he doesn't want to be there, and then he's going to burn out like me when he's 30. And I don't want that for him. I don't want him to go through a divorce and burn out on life so soon. I don't want him to wake up one day and realize that that's just the way he is and there's no hope for him. But for me, it's hard to pull out of it. I've done the drugs. It's hard to keep a phase, keeping on these phases that keep going, right? To prolong these phases in your life, you know, that you go through. They're shortening and becoming less sustainable. You really have the mind of an addict, and if you look at them, it's the same. Go look at the brain scans of an addict who's not on drugs. It's cold as well. And you'll realize that the depression, the addiction, all of those things are how you were born. And there's a genetic component, and you don't know what to do with it. You don't blame it. You don't blame your genetics for it. It's just an explanation of what it is, but that doesn't make it any less unbearable and any less difficult to deal with. It's such a hard life this way. Being born with a brain that's so easy to fall into addiction and depression and anxiety. Your brain has just got the chemistry for it. It's just not developed the same way. And yes, you're very talented as a person and you can do so many different things, but you can't hold down a job. You can't hold down a marriage. You can't hold down any lasting responsibility as a human being, which is what our society needs from you to do. And you can't do that, so you feel like you don't fit in here. And then when you're depressed, you feel like you don't fit in anywhere. Then what options do you have if you don't fit in the place that you're in, right? You leave. And the sad realization comes when you go to different places and those stop filling that need for you for change. All those changes in your life stop working. Your brain stops working. And then you wonder what's left. You know what's left to live for. And I know I have my children. So is what's left to live for me so that they can experience the pain that I experience? I hope not. I don't know any other way. I feel like I've tried to cope with every possible way I could, including therapy, including drugs, including self-medication, including seeking approval and attention, and just get to a point when you're just done. There's nowhere else to turn. So what do you do in that point? Well, a lot of people choose suicide, and for me, it's not there. Fortunately and unfortunately, depends on how you look at it, but it's just not that option for me, and so I just stare at the wall, not thinking that life's going to change or be any different the next day, but you're going to still feel the pain every day, and nothing ever changes, because guess what? Just how your brain is. It's how you were born. And no matter what you do to change that, you can't. No matter how much you accept it, it doesn't take the pain away. It doesn't lessen the pain. It's still there. It's still terrible.